chosen one. I am calling you to pause at this very moment, because an important door is drawing very near, and you need to enter it with awareness, rather than fear or haste. My beloved child, some movements unfold so quickly that the ordinary mind has not yet recognized them, while the heart has already sensed an unfamiliar wind beginning to touch it. In recent days, you may have suddenly remembered a certain person, an old promise, a dream you once abandoned, or a path you believed had been closed long ago. Do not be too quick to dismiss these things as coincidences. I, Michael, have come to remind you that the season of waiting does not last forever. There comes a time when you must stop standing outside the threshold, stop questioning whether you are worthy enough, and courageously step onto the path that has been prepared for you. This opportunity is not coming to threaten you, nor is it forcing you to chase after it in panic. It is coming to awaken your ability to choose wisely, so that you may recognize what carries peace and what is merely noise seeking to distract you. During the past few hours, you may have felt an urge that was difficult to name, as though the unfinished stories of your family, the hopes that were once delayed, and the silent prayers of the generations before you were all turning toward you. I do not want you to carry the past as though it were a sentence against you. What has been handed down to you is not a chain, but an opportunity to end the cycles that caused many before you to live in scarcity, fear, separation, or silence. You are being called to transform pain into understanding, scarcity into discipline, and unstable relationships into connections built upon respect. This awakening touches both your love life and your finances, because both areas reflect the way you perceive your own value. When you stop begging for affection from places that offer you nothing but uncertainty, you will recognize the person who is sincere. When you stop spending in an attempt to fill the emptiness within, you will learn how to preserve and develop the resources entrusted to you. The key is not hidden in some mysterious external sign. It is found in the maturity you have quietly built each time you rose again. Therefore, do not be afraid when this message reaches deeply into the places you once tried to conceal. I know that there have been nights when you wondered why you had worked so hard while your progress remained slow, why you had loved sincerely yet encountered people who did not know how to cherish you, and why your financial plans continued to be delayed by circumstances beyond your control. You once believed that you had been forgotten, but I tell you gently that not one sincere tear has ever been meaningless. There were seasons when you were not carried forward quickly, because had the door opened too soon, you would have entered it with your old habits and wounded yourself again. The delay taught you to distinguish promises from actions and genuine opportunities from traps concealed beneath attractive appearances. It also taught you that money is not the measure of your worth, and love is not a reward given to the person who endures suffering the longest. Now, what is approaching will not merely require you to receive it. It will also require you to protect it, nurture it, and use it wisely. Keep yourself in alignment through very simple things. Speak honestly. Complete what you have committed yourself to doing. Avoid making decisions while emotionally provoked, and create a quiet space in which you can listen again to the deepest voice within you. Heaven does not lead you through chaos. What belongs to the light may require courage from you, but it will never force you to betray your purest values. If a relationship requires you to lose your self-respect in order to remain, it is not the door I am opening. If a financial opportunity pressures you to deceive, borrow recklessly, or harm another person, it is not the blessing intended for you. What is right will invite you to become more mature, more responsible, and more generous. When you are given more, do not ask only what you will be able to enjoy. Ask how you can create safety, healing, and hope for others. Every good seed you sow through your time, kindness, knowledge, or resources can become a lamp for someone who cannot find a way forward. Yet, you do not need to give in order to purchase a blessing. Give because your heart has been set free from the fear of not having enough. I also want you to understand that supporting a worthy mission has meaning only when it comes from willingness and sound judgment. You do not need to prove your faith by doing something beyond your ability. A timely word of encouragement, a meal shared with someone, a job opportunity passed along, or your sincere presence beside a person in despair can also be a precious gift. What you give in love will return in many forms, sometimes as peace, sometimes as a new connection, and sometimes as the ability to see a door you once overlooked. But do not turn generosity into a transaction with heaven. I want you to live with an open heart, not with calculation. Your future is shaped by the choices you repeatedly make each day. Whether you keep your word, whether you learn from your mistakes, whether you remain kind when no one is watching, and whether you have the courage to leave what continually makes you feel smaller. These are the things that establish a firm foundation for the new season. The stagnation and wounds of the past, therefore, were not the end of your story. They were signs that you had been passing through a long process of preparation. There is a story within your family line that is waiting to be rewritten, and you do not have to repeat the choices that brought sorrow to those who came before you. You may become the person who begins speaking the truth in a family accustomed to silence, the first person to learn how to manage money in a family line marked by instability, or the one who dares to love with healthy boundaries instead of enduring pain in exchange for approval. The message that has reached you tonight is not intended to sweep you into a false sense of urgency. The 11-minute countdown is merely a symbolic reminder that some decisions should not be postponed forever. Sending a sincere apology, completing an application, declining an unsuitable invitation, beginning a savings plan, or closing a door that has exhausted you for far too long. You do not need to change your entire life within a few minutes. You need only take one honest step, enter this moment with calm hope. I am not here to frighten you, but to help you stand upright, wipe away your doubts, and remind you that you were not created to live forever beneath the shadow of your former failures. What is approaching may be a meeting, an invitation, an idea, a reconciliation, or a new financial direction. Receive it with clear eyes, but examine everything with wisdom. Do not surrender your heart too quickly, simply because someone says what you have long wanted to hear. Do not place all your resources into a single opportunity, merely because it promises immediate results. A genuine door is not afraid of thoughtful questions. My beloved child, the new season does not require you to become someone else. It invites you to return to the truest, bravest, and most disciplined version of yourself. Take a deep breath, place your hand over your heart, and declare that you are ready to walk in the light. I will not drag you forward by force, but I will walk beside you, reminding you to protect your dignity, choose what brings peace, and use every approaching blessing to make this life more beautiful. You are standing at a time when two doors that appear to have nothing to do with one another are about to open at the same time. One door leading you toward the restoration of love, and the other bringing you into a season of abundance, for which your family has waited a very long time. I want you to understand that what is approaching is not a small coincidence, nor is it a hope fabricated merely to soothe you after exhausting days. This is the moment when many scattered lines in your life will begin to connect, allowing you to recognize that the months of delay, the times you lost your direction, and even the periods of silence that appeared meaningless were quietly preparing you for a great transformation. Love and financial provision will not arrive as two separate gifts, but as two streams flowing together toward a land that was once dry. I am leading you toward a place where your heart will be comforted, your hands will be entrusted with greater capacity, and you will no longer have to choose between being loved and being secure, because both are being arranged to support your new journey. What is approaching carries the heat of purification, because not every breakthrough arrives in a gentle form. Some doors open only after the old shell has been burned away, and some blessings can remain only after you release the things that once kept you small. Therefore, if old emotions have recently risen again, if memories you believed had fallen asleep have suddenly returned, or if certain relationships have caused you to examine yourself more deeply, do not immediately assume that these are signs of failure. I am using light to show you what needs to be healed, what needs to be released, and what deserves to be preserved. The fire that is coming is not meant to destroy you, but to burn away insecurity, the fear of scarcity, and the habit of accepting things that fall beneath your true value. When that fire has passed through, you will no longer be the person who is always hesitant in the presence of happiness, nor will you continue living as though you must beg for the very things that have already been prepared to find you. In matters of love, I know you have wondered how someone could disappear from your sight, while never truly leaving the deeper places of your memory. You tried to use reason to close a door, but something unfinished can sometimes leave an echo that lasts for a very long time. There is someone who once walked away in pride, confusion, or fear, yet distance did not help them forget what had existed between you. They may have tried to convince themselves that everything was over, created reasons not to return, or appeared calm, while something within them continued to be quietly stirred. However, do not make their return the center of your life, because I am not teaching you to sit still and wait for someone to recognize your value. I want you to continue growing, continue establishing peace, and allow the truth to reveal itself. If that person returns, they must return with clarity, responsibility, and respect, not merely with beautiful promises spoken during a moment of emotional weakness. What I am doing is not simply bringing someone back. I am realigning the paths of two people so that, if their meeting still belongs to the journey ahead, it will not repeat the wounds of the past. The realignment of which I speak is the process of bringing each person back into the proper place. You are being called back to dignity, awareness, and self-respect, while the other person is being brought to a place where they must confront what they once avoided. Only when both people stop running from the truth can love be seen through mature eyes. If that bond truly has a place in your future, it will not return through chaos, uncertainty, or prolonged emotional testing. It will arrive with evidence of genuine change, with a willingness to listen, make amends, and protect what is valuable. But if the person from your past was merely a bridge that has already fulfilled its purpose. I will not allow you to remain trapped in nostalgia. I will use this very awakening to lead you toward a more peaceful love, where you will not need to sacrifice your inner freedom in order to remain beside someone. At the same time, another stream is being opened in your financial life. The opportunities that once drew near and then disappeared, the plans that seemed about to succeed but suddenly became stagnant, and the money you have waited so long to receive have not all been lost. Some things were held back because the timing was not yet right, while some doors remained closed because you were still learning how to manage, discern, and remain steady in the presence of abundance. I do not want you to receive a great gift, only to lose it because you were unprepared. Therefore, throughout the past season, you were taught through every small limitation, every moment in which you had to consider your spending carefully, and every experience that helped you understand the value of work, gratitude, and wisdom. Now that you are able to see money as a tool for building, rather than a means of measuring your personal worth, the things that were once delayed are beginning to move. An offer, a collaborative opportunity, a delayed payment, or an idea that was once underestimated may become the key that opens the next stage. Do not despise the small steps that appear in the days ahead, because a great miracle sometimes wears very ordinary clothing. It may begin with a conversation, an introduction, a decision to learn something new, or an opportunity that requires you to step beyond what is familiar. I will not always place increase before you in a form that is easy to recognize. Sometimes I hide a seed inside a humble assignment to see whether you will remain faithful. Sometimes I place the door in a location you once overlooked because you considered it too small. Therefore, remain alert, and do not allow impatience to make you reject something merely because it does not yet appear perfect. Lasting abundance does not come for display. It comes to give you the ability to provide, share, build, and create something good for those who will come after you. At this very moment, you are drawing near to the person whom many generations before you longed to see. Within your family line were people who lived under the fear of scarcity, people who sacrificed their dreams because of responsibility, and people who carried wounds they never had the opportunity to name. They were unable to complete the entire journey, but their tears, endurance, and hope were not meaningless. You were not chosen to repeat every old cycle. You were given an opportunity to bring them to an end. A generational curse is not an undefeatable darkness, but a collection of patterns involving fear, silence, scarcity, and pain that have been passed from one generation to another. When you choose truth instead of concealment, healing instead of retaliation, wise management instead of wastefulness, and mature love instead of dependency, you are breaking each link in the chain that once imprisoned your family. I know that this responsibility can sometimes feel heavy, but you do not have to carry everything by yourself. You need only remain faithful to the step before you today. Care for what is already in your hands. Keep your heart pure. Speak words that bring hope, and do not return to the habits that once weakened you. The blessing you leave for future generations is not found only in the amount of money you pass down, but also in the way you love, the boundaries you establish, the manner in which you face adversity, and the way you teach those around you that they deserve to live a life that is not ruled by fear. You are the turning point between what has happened before and what will now be written differently. Through you, a new story is beginning. One in which love is no longer accompanied by endless pain. Sufficiency is no longer regarded as something unreachable, and success no longer requires you to lose your peace. Therefore, open your heart without losing your discernment. Receive love without lowering your dignity to keep another person. Prepare for increase without allowing money to govern your choices. The two mysteries gradually being revealed are not meant merely to make you happy for a brief period, but to bring you into a life that is more mature, more expansive, and more capable of supporting others. I am realigning the roads, closing the wrong paths, drawing what belongs to you nearer, and at the same time, teaching you to become wise enough to recognize it. You are no longer standing where you once stood, even if your eyes cannot yet see the full extent of the change. Continue forward in peace, because what is approaching is not merely a gift for you alone. It is also the beginning of a stream of blessing that will continue flowing through many generations after you. My beloved child, at this very moment, an important decision is taking shape around your life. And what you need to do is not become afraid, but keep your heart awake, peaceful, and clear. There may be people you have never met, conversations you have never heard, and doors being quietly considered. An introduction, an acknowledgement, or another person's decision may become the bridge that brings you closer to what you have patiently awaited. That person may hold a position, influence, or resources capable of creating a significant change. Yet, they may not fully understand why your name continually comes to mind, why they are paying attention to your abilities, or why they feel compelled to consider an opportunity for you. I am telling you this, not so that you will pursue another person, and certainly not so that you will place your destiny in their hands, but so that you may understand that help is sometimes delivered through very ordinary channels. Therefore, do not act hastily, do not close the door because of former disappointments, and do not diminish yourself simply because what you have prayed for has not appeared in the form you expected. I know that the years behind you have caused you to wonder many times whether your efforts were ever truly seen. You have done many things quietly, swallowed tears no one knew about, and lifted yourself again after days when you believed you no longer had the strength to continue. At times, beautiful promises seemed very near. Yet because of a delay, a rejection, or an unexpected event, everything appeared to move farther away again. Experiences like these caused you to develop the habit of doubting yourself. When an opportunity appeared, you no longer welcomed it with trust, but immediately began searching for signs that it would fail. My child, I do not blame you for this hesitation. I understand that a heart that has been wounded often builds walls in order to protect itself. But you need to distinguish between wise caution and fear that quietly closes every path. Caution helps you see clearly. Fear causes you to view what is good as a trap, sincere people as those with hidden motives, and yourself as someone unworthy of receiving anything beautiful. Therefore, what I am reminding you today is not that you should distrust everyone around you. Do not turn a warning into a dark lens through which you see danger everywhere. Within your circle of acquaintances, there may arise an invitation, a proposal, a conversation, or a seemingly simple action that requires careful consideration before you agree. Something may appear attractive while being inconsistent with the values you are protecting. Certain words may sound sweet while lacking the necessary transparency. When this happens, do not respond in anger and do not rush to condemn anyone. Slow down, Observe whether their words are accompanied by responsibility, whether their promises are demonstrated through consistent actions, and whether each interaction leaves your heart more peaceful and clear, or more confused and diminished. True discernment does not enlarge anxiety. It returns you to stability, helps you ask the right questions, and enables you to establish boundaries without causing unnecessary harm. You must also remember that not every delay is a loss. Some doors have not opened because you are still being prepared to pass through them without losing your peace, dignity, or purpose. If a major financial change arrives before you know how to manage it, it may become a burden. If a relationship is restored before both people learn how to listen, the former wounds may be reopened. If your strength and health are renewed while you continue living in exhaustion, you will quickly return to the old cycle. Therefore, the renewal intended for you is not found only in the number in your bank account, the recognition you receive from others, or an unexpected opportunity. It is also the ability to sleep peacefully after days filled with pressure, the courage to say no to what weakens you, the capacity to receive love without constantly expecting betrayal, and the wisdom to use what is given to you for a worthy purpose. I want you to be raised up in wholeness, not merely carried to a high position and then abandoned there with wounds that remain unhealed. At this moment, the most important threshold may not be outside you, but within your own decision. Will you continue delaying because you believe you are not good enough? Or will you begin preparing like someone who believes a new season can arrive? Will you allow the voices of the past to define you, or will you recognize what you have learned and move forward with dignity? Will you attempt to control everyone around you in order to avoid being hurt? Or will you maintain healthy boundaries and allow the truth to reveal itself with time? The agreement you have delayed for many years may not require a dramatic declaration. Sometimes it is simply submitting the application you continually revise but never send, answering a call you are afraid to face, completing unfinished work, seeking appropriate support, restoring order to your daily life, or leaving an agreement that is no longer honest. One small step taken with awareness can create movement that hundreds of anxious days could never produce. I also want to comfort you concerning this. You do not need to interpret every event as a threat. When you have experienced many losses, an unusual look can make you anxious. A delayed reply to a message can cause you to believe you have been rejected, and a small change in another person's attitude can lead you to imagine painful possibilities. My child, return to what can be verified. Do not assign motives to others when you do not yet possess enough truth. Do not allow your imagination to become a place where fear writes stories and then forces you to believe them. When something is unclear, you have the right to ask. When you do not feel safe, you have the right to step back. When you recognize that a proposal lacks transparency, you have the right to refuse it. But after you have done your part, release the assumptions that exhaust your heart. Peace does not come from knowing every secret another person holds. Peace comes from knowing that you will act with integrity, regardless of what others choose. What is approaching may touch many areas of your life at the same time. Your work may begin to move forward. Your finances may gradually stabilize. An important relationship may become clearer. Your strength may be restored, and your emotions may no longer be pulled downward by old memories. However, I do not want you to wait for a miracle while neglecting your daily responsibilities. Manage what you already possess before demanding something greater. Remain faithful to your small commitments. Bring order to disorganized expenses. Care for your sleep. Complete your responsibilities on time. Speak clearly and avoid participating in conversations that damage another person's honor. These things may appear unrelated to a major door, yet they are actually the foundation that will enable you to enter without becoming overwhelmed. Lasting favor often comes to places where gratitude, discipline, humility, and responsibility are present. When an influential person appears to support you, receive their help with gratitude, but do not elevate them into the source of all your hope. People can change their minds, circumstances can shift, and plans may require adjustment, but your value does not change according to their attitude. One closed door does not mean that your entire life has been rejected. Sometimes, it is merely a sign that you need to take another path. A delayed promise does not mean that you have been forgotten. Perhaps you are being protected from receiving too soon what is not yet suitable. Therefore, do your part well, behave sincerely, remain professional, do not flatter those who possess authority, and do not despise those in lower positions. You do not know through whose mouth a good testimony about you may travel, nor do you know which door may someday be opened through the kindness you show today. I am standing beside you as a guardian of peace, not to make you terrified of darkness, but to remind you that the light within you is strong enough to guide you when you choose truth. Do not allow one distracted moment to pull you away from the principles you have protected. Do not allow your intense desire for change to make you sign something you do not understand. Place your trust too quickly or ignore signs that need clarification. Yet do not allow former disappointments to make you reject every sincere hand. Walk slowly, look carefully, ask clearly, and keep your heart tender. What belongs to you will not require you to betray yourself in order to receive it. Genuine support will not force you to exchange your peace, dignity, or integrity. What is good and lasting will not grow out of panic, but out of preparation, clear judgment, and mature trust. Therefore, my beloved child, stand upright today. A decision involving you may be under consideration in a place you know nothing about. But the most important decision remains how you choose to live during the waiting. Prepare instead of speculating. Pray instead of panicking. Observe instead of condemning. And act instead of continuing to delay. I do not promise that everything will unfold according to the image you have created in your mind, but I remind you that no delay can take away the good qualities being formed within you. Hold on to your peace, care for yourself, complete what needs to be completed, and cross into the new threshold with clear eyes. When you no longer allow fear to lead you, you will realize that the miracle is not merely that a door has opened, but that you have become steady, discerning, and compassionate enough to walk through it.